Good afternoon, my dear students. Today we are going to start a new chapter, chapter 14, Natural Resources. So, what are resources? Can you say what are natural resources? Natural resources are the resources, which means the things that are available on earth that is useful for human beings. Okay, that are known as the natural resources. The resources which we can see in the nature and it is useful for us. This type of things are known as the natural resources. Okay, so our planet Earth is the only one on which life exists as per now. Okay, life on earth is dependent on many factors. Most life forms we know need an ambient temperature, water and food. The resources available on earth and energy from the sun are necessary to meet the basic requirements of all life forms on the earth. So now we are going to see what are these resources on earth. So the resources on earth are land, water and air. The outer crust of the earth is known as the lithosphere. Okay, the land portion of the earth is known as the lithosphere. And the another most important thing is water covers 75% of earth's surface. This also we can see underground water. So this is known as the water, the place where the sphere which contained water is known as the hydrosphere. Hydro means water. Okay, the air that covers the wall of the earth like a blanket which covers the earth, that is known as the atmosphere. So three parts: lithosphere, which constitute this land portion, hydrosphere, water portion, and the atmosphere, air. Okay, these are the three parts. So these three together, lithosphere, atmosphere and hydrosphere, together we can call as biosphere. Okay, so this life supporting zone of the earth where the atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere interact and make life possible, that is known as the biosphere. Okay, the living things constitute the biotic component of the biosphere. The air, the water and the soil form the non-living or abiotic component of the biosphere. Okay, so two things we already studied in previous classes. Two things are the abiotic, that means non-living things, and biotic means living things. These two is essential, that like mutual cooperation is a must for the proper balanced stable environment. Okay, so abiotic factors like air, water and soil is important, equally important like the living things, okay, in the earth. So now we will see what is the significance of air. Okay, as I said too, the air that covers the earth like a blanket, it is known as the atmosphere. So it is a mixture of many gases like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide and water vapor. So it is interesting to note that even the composition of air is the result of life on the earth. In planets such as Venus and Mars, where no life is known to exist, major component of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide. So in fact, the carbon dioxide constitutes up to 95 to 97% of the atmosphere of Venus and Mars. And all organisms, all plants and animals use oxygen for respiration. So eukaryotic cells and many prokaryotic cells need oxygen to break down glucose molecules and get energy for their day-to-day activities. This results in the production of carbon dioxide. Another process which results in the consumption of oxygen and the production of carbon dioxide is combustion. Combustion means burning. This includes not just human activities which burns fuels to get energy, but also because of forest fires. So the percentage of carbon dioxide in our atmosphere is a mere fraction of percentage, because carbon dioxide is fixed in two ways. How we are getting carbon dioxide in the nature. One way is that green plants convert carbon dioxide into glucose in the presence of sunlight. Okay, then second one, many marine animals use carbonates to in the shells, or you can see carbonates, okay, dissolved in seawater to make their shells. Now we will see the next topic, the role of atmosphere in the climate control. As I already said, the air that covers the earth like a blanket, it is known as the atmosphere. So actually the atmosphere is protecting our earth. Okay, and another important thing is that air is a bad conductor of heat. The atmosphere keeps the average temperature of the earth fairly steady during the day and even during the course of whole year. The atmosphere prevents sudden increase in the temperature during the daylight hours, and during the night is slow down the escape of heat into the outer space. Think of the moon, which is about the same distance from the sun that the earth is. Despite that, on the surface of the moon with no atmosphere, the temperature ranges from minus 190 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So atmosphere plays an important role for the balancing of temperature during the day and also during the night time. Okay, so that atmosphere keeps the average temperature of the earth fairly steady during the day and throughout the year. So now we will see next topic, the movement of air, that is known as the wind. As I think we already studied in the previous classes and all, the moving air is known as the wind. So how the air will move from one place to another place, okay, that we will see in this topic. When the air gets heated up in a place, when the air is heated up due to the maybe to the sun's rays and all, air get heated up, it rises up due to the light weight, it will rise up and produces low pressure in that area, and cool air moves into that place. This movement of air causes wind. Once again I will tell, when the air in a place get heated up due to the sun rays in a hot day, it rises up because it will become, the warm air will become light. So what will happen, it will go up. So the pressure, it produces the low pressure in that area, and the cool air from the surrounding will come to that area, okay, into the it will come to that area. The movement of air, that will cause winds. Okay, during the day the land get heated faster than the sea, right? So the hot air above the land rises up. Just imagine, the hot air above the land rises up because the warm air will be lighter, okay, and the cool air from the sea moves towards the land. Okay, during the night the opposite will happen. Okay, the sea cools down slowly than the land. So the hot air above the sea rises up, and the cool air from the land moves towards the sea. Okay, so these are the two phenomena. It is happening during the daytime and during the night time. So when you are visiting the seashore and all, you can feel very cool, soft breeze. Okay, that evening breezes and the relief brought by these breezes after a hot day. Similarly, when there is a rainfall after a hot weather, and then we get a great relief, right? The movement of air is due to the heating of air, and when there are water vapors present in the air, then it becomes a gentle breeze. So the movement of air from high pressure to low pressure area is known as the wind. Okay, so now you can see in this slide, first of all, left side, the ground get heated up faster than the sea. Okay, so when the air above the ground will become warmer and it will become lighter. Okay, so the air gets heated and rises to form an area of low pressure. Is it clear? First of all, the ground get heated up and the warm air, it will become lighter and it will rise up, and that place it will create a low pressure. So step 3, the sea does not get heated as quickly as land. So what will happen? The cooler and the denser air, the cool air will be more dense. Okay, above the sea sinks to form an area of high pressure. So the movement of air from high pressure to low pressure is known as the one of the causes of wind. Okay, the movement of air from high pressure to low pressure is the cause of winds. Okay, so the cool air over the sea blows towards the land. High pressure, always keep in mind, the wind blows from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure, replacing the warm air on the land, forming a sea breeze. Okay, just opposite will happen in the case of land breeze. Next, we will discuss about an important source of water, that is rain. We already studied in previous classes about the water cycle, how the water is getting rotated on the earth, right? So, when the water bodies are heated during the day, a large amount of water evaporates and goes into the air. Okay, so water bodies like lakes, streams, oceans, from the water get heated up due to the heat of the sun, and it will evaporate and goes into the air. Some amount of water vapor also get into the atmosphere because of various biological activities. This air also gets heated. The hot air rises up because it will be lightweight and it will go up, carrying water vapor with it. As the air rises, it expands and it will cools. Okay, it will cool, and this cooling causes the water vapor in the air to condense in the form of tiny droplets. This condensation of water facilitated if some particles could act as nucleus for these drops to form around. Normally, dust and other suspended particles in the air perform this function. Once the water droplets are formed, they grow bigger by the condensation of the water droplets. When the drops have grown big and heavy, they fall down in the form of rain. Sometimes when the temperature of air is low enough, precipitation may occur in the form of snow, sleet or hail. So the rainfall patterns are decided by the prevailing wind patterns. In large part of India, the rains are mostly brought by the south, west or northeast monsoons.